I think we have a few microphones on or something.
Oh, is it echoing? Okay, folks, check your computers, your laptops. If you're at the boardroom table.
Saying this content is being sent to a third party.
I see that too. Do we say got it to this? The content of this meeting is being sent to a third party? Yeah, that's okay. Usually it just says live. Okay, thanks.
I wonder if YouTube's updated their messaging, probably.
Okay.
How's the feedback? Any echo? That was 3 times.
Sounds like you're in a tunnel or something. But
Okay, we will try to speak clearly.
Okay, so I guess we can call this meeting to order at 12:35. And just wanted to just mention that, you know, we're 5 minutes late getting started. We were having some technical difficulties. So if there's any public that's watching, just so you're aware. So we're calling the policy committee meeting of January 17, 2024 to order. And I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are privileged to meet on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Squamish and Tsatleyam Nations. With that, there is a agenda recommendation there.
That the agenda of this meeting be approved.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there a second for that? Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Okay, seeing and hearing none, and that's accepted. Are we expecting Rachel today? Marcy?
I thought so.
Yeah,
but we have quorum, so we can continue.
Yeah. Well, I can text her. She said she was going to try to Zoom in today.
Yeah. And the other thing before we continue, I just want to say that I apologize for not being there in person, and to thank April and Melissa for making the drive to the office. It was just a little bit too challenging with the snow and the lack of maintenance on our roads out to Darcy. So I chose not to drive at this time. So thank you. There's a set of minutes there.
That the minutes of the policy committee meeting held on December the 13th, 2023 be adopted.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there a second for that? Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, then those are accepted. Are there any trustee items? I am not aware of any at this moment. Not seeing or hearing anything, then we can move on. We do not have any presentations. So that brings us to our information items. So the 5-year policy review schedule. Did you want to speak to this, Danielle?
Yeah, there's nothing really in there that should be surprising. It's just the schedule for everybody's information. And it's just been updated to reflect a few things that we had moved ahead. At the last meeting, we moved inclement weather ahead, and we also added public disclosure from when the original version of the schedule is. So it's just there for your information.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I'll just add to your comments that when we talked about the agenda prep, I mentioned that maybe we want to just keep the our review schedule on the agenda as a standing item, so that we're aware and the public is aware as to when we'll be reviewing specific policies.
Perfect.
So with that, if I don't see any hands up or hear anyone, then we can move on to policy 501, student registration, enrollment, and placement. And Paul, I see your name is there.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Rebecca. I'm just going to do a quick sound check. Is that working okay for the folks on Zoom? I see some thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you will recall that we actually looked at this policy back in the fall. I believe it was passed at the December meeting. However, since then, we've noted something that has come up that we wanted to bring back and propose an amendment. We also found a few typos that we've taken care of, but I just wanted to describe the sort of the operational issue that arose. So over the last couple of weeks, everyone is aware that we amended our registration policy, this one to include the use of the lottery. And we did our best to communicate out about what that was going to look like and how that was going to impact or not impact the process. But interestingly, what has happened is that an interpretation of our policy has emerged that kind of surprised us, because it's not the interpretation of the policy and the rumors that are seem to be circulating is just not what is intended by our policy. And so what that rumor is that a student, and I'll use Valley Cliff as an example, because Valley Cliff is full and is using all of their classroom space, the rumor is that students who have been accepted in past years as a cross-boundary student will now likely be asked to leave to make space for new students coming in. And that's just not what our policy does. If you look at it and read different lines in different articles, you can kind of see how that conclusion could be come to, but that is not the intent or practice that we've had in the district. So we've had to reassure families that is not going to happen. Our policy doesn't allow for it. We don't have a policy that says that we would do that. But Chris and I took a bit more of a deep dive into the School Act to see if we could figure out how this misunderstanding came about, because particularly we were looking at section 1.15, particularly the first item A, which says the first level of priority is a catchment area student who in the previous year attended the school. So we were trying to figure out, well, why would it be there? Why is it worded that way? Because that's leading people to think, well, why would we say that if that wasn't meaning that we were going to look at moving students out? So when we went back to the School Act actually implies that by default, school districts will annually require students to register for school, even if they've been attending the school for a number of years. That's kind of the default language in the School Act. It also says that school districts may develop their own language so that students don't have to reapply every year. Once they are in the school, they are in and they don't have to reapply. So we've actually done that. We actually have policy that says school students, once they're enrolled in a school, you don't need to re-register or apply to attend again the next year and go through a process to see if there's going to be space for you. And I believe that it says that in section 1.1 of our enrollment policy. So once we kind of noted that, we realized that A section that talks about catchment area students who in the previous year attended the school, that language is actually in the School Act, but it's there for that situation where students have to reapply.
We lost sound.
We can't hear. Oh, we got something back.
Oh, boy.
Were you able to hear me?
No,
I'm frozen.
We can hear you
we can hear you
now.
now.
Yeah.
I'm
And
still
I can
frozen.
see, I can see you moving, Chris.
Oh, okay, I'm frozen on the
Oh,
screen.
you're frozen up there.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we all are.
Go
But
back
fo-
now.
But sorry, can folks hear us okay?
Yes.
So the audio is working, okay.
Okay, so was I cut off?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
She can't hear you.
Yeah, it keeps to be going out.
How is that now?
I got you now.
Okay, yeah, because it cut out on us again here a few minutes ago. It just rebooted.
So what we're gonna try, just, oops, someone's speakerphone. It was me. Sorry. So what we're gonna try, you'll notice the school district's grand view is off. So we're hoping that saves bandwidth because it seems to be fine on our computers. We can see each other, hear each other. It seems to only be affecting the school district laptop. So Archie's turn that off. So for the public, that means you're not gonna be able to see us. You're only going to hear us. So our apologies, but we're not sure what else to do. We haven't experienced this before. So is that okay through the chair? Is that acceptable? That we just have audio for the public?
They can see it.
Yeah, I don't think we have much choice, so we'll have to continue like this.
Okay.
It's like
Sorry,
a podcast.
our secretary treasurer thinks that we still may be streamed. It's just the big view.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Let's continue then. Hopefully we don't get disconnected. Thank you.
Okay, so I understand this is kind of a long-winded explanation on my part. So maybe I'll just ask, what was the last thing I talked about before we lost the audio, and I'll try to pick it up from there.
Schedule A, the line from the reason why A is there.
Right. Okay. So I was mentioning before that because the School Act provides boards with the option of not requiring students to re-register every year, that's actually what A is for. So we don't actually need it because we have that stipulation that says that we don't require students to reapply every year. There's no reason for us to have that first level of priority where we say students who attended the school the previous year, because students who attended the school the previous year never have to reapply because that's what our policy says. So we felt that it would be less confusing if we took that right out of there because it's just not necessary and it's intended for a completely different purpose. So that's why we wanted to bring this back to you, just to let you know about that change and see if there were any questions or concerns.
I think that looks good, Paul. I think that it helps to avoid some confusion.
Okay. I don't know who's. Oh, I see Celeste hands up. Celeste, were you just talking?
No, I just put my hand up.
Okay, go ahead then. I'm just hearing stuff and I can't see who's talking and the people are frozen.
We can hear you now.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So thanks for that, Paul. That was one of the things that stood out to me when I was reviewing it again. And so I'm assuming that you got the email that I had sent in. And my one suggestion to make it totally crystal clear is that last sentence of 1.15, to have it read, available seats are to be filled in accordance with the following priorities for existing students and new students who enroll before the registration deadline, or something like that. Like, just, even though I agree with you, the policy does say it infers in other sections, but just to make it very, very clear, I wasn't expecting this to be a bigger problem. It's just something that stood out to me. So I don't know if there's any additional changes that you are proposing other than what was presented to us, but something along the lines that makes it, of what I've just read, that makes it so very crystal clear. So, because I think the draft that you sent to us in the agenda package still might leave room for not really understanding that existing students will be automatically enrolled.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, thanks for that feedback. And my only concern about that last sentence in 115 is that it's actually quite important, because the School Act does talk about how school districts must establish a deadline for enrollment, and that deadline becomes important for a lot of reasons. So that's why we say specifically there, this list of priority is for students who register before the deadline. That's a very specific piece of information that's important to have in there, because once that deadline passes, everything changes. So that the language about the deadline is key. After the deadline passes, then any available seat becomes kind of open to anybody after that deadline. So that's the piece there. Yeah, so we determined that taking that item A out, item A was kind of, after we looked at all the correspondence and the questions, that was kind of the key item that caused the confusion. So we felt that would help to put it to rest.
So sorry, Rebecca, can I just respond? What I was trying to suggest is, I think I do agree with you to say that for new students, these are the criteria that have to be met, but something to make it clear that existing student, like the seats will be filled with existing students, and then this criteria would be applied to new registrants, not, does that make sense?
Well,
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
yeah,
Oh, I think we've lost you again.
Who'd we lose?
I can hear you, Rebecca, but I can't hear the school board office.
Yeah, I can't. I think we need a signal that's like, hey, you're all quiet. Can't hear you.
we might not be able to continue the.
Oh, you're back.
We can hear you now.
We have to move to phones.
Or do we move to the other boardroom?
Yeah, so Chair, what do you think? We need to either not be live streamed and do this through phones, or we need a few moments to move to another room and hope that makes a difference, because we recognize the inconvenience of this, and it seems to be dropping every 5 minutes.
I think we can move pretty quick.
I don't think it'll make a difference.
Yeah, will it fix it?
I can't see. Do you think it's that?
Those online, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Rebecca, but I can't hear the boardroom. You're probably
Yeah,
just-
me neither.
The boardroom.
Okay, I'm going to unmute. I'm going to unmute. And yes, they can hear me now?
I can
Okay.
hear you, Chris.
I feel I want to make the suggestion that we agree not to live stream. I mean, that's a lovely thing we're able to do when we can. It's a new thing. We'll put our apologies when we post it, because we're not going to be able to continue the business of the day. This is going to keep happening all day, all night, and I don't think we've got the time for that. So What do folks think? They wouldn't heard me. We just dropped again.
No, we got you.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Chris.
It's just a live stream. We're
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
gonna connect again, or I'm just gonna go.
Can I take that?
We stop live streaming?
Is it live streaming through Zoom or through YouTube?
YouTube.